What's up guys, Andre here, because Nintendo just made the eShop on Nintendo Switch a little bit better. Because do you see that new section on the left there between recent releases and coming soon? You know, the ones that says best sellers? This is a brand new section that they just added, and what it does is it actually shows the top 15 games in terms of sales on the eShop over the past 2 weeks, as you can see written at the bottom of the screen there. And this is pretty cool for a few different reasons. One, it's just nice to see what people are actually buying. It provides a quick way of seeing what's popular and what, you might want to check out, possibly. It's not necessarily a sign of quality, but it does give you an idea of what people are playing. So that's cool in and of itself, but also it helps resolve a little bit one of the problems the eShop has had with games already being buried under recent releases. And a lot of those recent releases, aren't really, considering they're a couple decades old, like the Neo Geo games. So having another section to help filter through these is actually pretty useful. And presumably should offer an idea of, again, higher quality games in general, maybe not necessarily on an individual basis. But look, we got Snipper Clips at number 1 here. That game is pretty solid. Snake Pass at number 2, Shovel Knight at number 3. Clearly, this is a pretty solid list so far. And then we have Fast RMX, which I think actually should be higher. That game is really good. So yeah, this just provides a, again, a quick way of seeing what people are playing and and maybe give you an idea of something you might have missed that you possibly should check out. Okay, now beyond that, what else is cool is this is actually available in all 3 regions. It's actually called charts in Europe, by the way, not bestsellers. And we can actually go to the other different regions and see how these sales compare. So I'm not going to touch on everything here, there's, too much to cover, but there are a few things I want to bring up here. So, first up in the US, or North America rather, World of Goo is at number 15. Also, Zelda is at number 7, again for the eShop. And then Snipper Clips is at 1, and the Snake Pass is at number 2. So let's go and check it out. Let's check out what's going on in Europe and see how that compares. And yeah, I'm gonna keep you in suspense here while it loads. I already know what's going on here, but gonna keep you in suspense here. Alright, so here we are in Europe. Again, it's called charts instead of bestsellers. And we can see Snake Pass and Snipper Clips have actually reversed, now being 1 and 2 respectively instead of 2 and 1 respectively. Faster RMX is at a more proper slot number 3, although some might disagree with that, pushing it and Shovel Knight down to number 4. But as you can see, it's pretty consistent so far. But we can now see World of Goo is actually up at number 7 as opposed to 15 in North America. So it got a pretty big bump in Europe. So I'm not quite sure why it seems to be relatively more popular in Europe compared to the other titles than it does in North America, but that is pretty interesting. I don't know, did it come out on Wii in Europe? If it didn't, that might explain why, but if it did, then I really have no idea. And then we have Zelda at number 8, which is actually very similar to North America's number 7, so, pretty much the same, minus the World of Goo portion being quite a bit higher. So now let's go ahead and head over to Japan. So keep an eye on Zelda at number 8 again. Remember, number 7 and 8 in North America and Europe, respectively. So we're gonna load up in Japan here. We're gonna see something pretty interesting. I think, at least. So we head down to what I'm guessing is bestsellers, or maybe charts. I don't know what it actually says in Japanese. We can see Zelda is actually all the way up at number 2. That is pretty crazy considering it's at number 7 and 8 in North America and Europe. And similarly, we have 1-2 Switch here at number 3, which is kind of fitting, 1, 2, 3, or whatever. Whereas that was actually number 10 in North America. Now, both of those games are physical games as well. You can go buy them in a store right now. So I think it's interesting that both of them are placing much higher on the eShop in Japan as opposed to North America and Europe. So I wonder if that just might be a sign that Japan is more embracing of buying full games digitally as opposed to physically as well. Granted, we have no idea how these sales actually compare to the physical versions in Japan, but I do think it is interesting that they place so much higher. Because I know a lot of people, at least in North America, still prefer to buy physical games, whether it's because they just like having them physically or they like collecting things, there's any number of reasons. I myself prefer buying games digitally, especially on a game or on a system like the Switch, where it's all about convenience, right? It's all about being able to play wherever you want, however you want, and I like having all my games already built into it without having to bring all my cards with me. Plus, I don't have to worry about losing them or anything, and plus swapping games, again, is much easier, as opposed to if you're playing at home, you have to get up, go to your Switch, swap games, and go sit back down. Yeah, I know I make that sound a lot more complicated than it is, but hey, I'm lazy. But going by these charts, it seems like Nintendo Switch owners in Japan may agree with me. Anyways, guys, there you have it. That's a look at the bestsellers list added to the eShop, which, by the way, is automatically there. You don't need to download an update or anything. It'll just appear next time you access the eShop. And it seems like it's pretty cool, but granted, it's just a small fix for what I hope is going to be a much improved eShop in the future. Because while it works fine as is, it could definitely be a lot better. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Of course, stay tuned to GameXplain for lots more on Nintendo Switch and other things gaming as well. Catch you later. Bye.